Hi guys, our topic for today is about isosceles triangle theorem and the converse. Okay, let's start. This theorem states that if two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite those sides are congruent. So here, if side AB is congruent to side BC, then the angle BAC, this one, is congruent to angle ACB, this one. Okay, so this theorem states that, for example, as you can see in this figure, side AB measures 4 units, and also side BC measures 4 units. Again, class, just a quick review. Isosceles triangle is a triangle with two equal sides. So this is an example of isosceles triangle. Now, since they have the same measurement, it means the angle opposite of that side is also congruent. For example, since this is 4 units, the angle opposite of this side, this one, which is angle BAC, is congruent to the angle opposite of this side, which is this one, angle ACB. Okay, so since these sides are congruent, the angle opposite of this side is also congruent. It means that angle BAC and angle ACB are also congruent. It means that, for example, this measures 40 degrees, this also measures 40 degrees. Okay, so the converse of this theorem is that if two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite those angles are congruent. So just the reverse. If the measure of angle BAC is congruent to angle ACB, then the side opposite those, which is side AB, is congruent to side BC. So again, class, since these two angles are congruent, the side opposite those angles are also congruent. It means that, class, if this measures 5 units, therefore, this side is also 5 units. Okay, let's go to example number 1. In triangle ABC, the measure of angle A is 22 degrees. So this one is 22 degrees. The measure of angle A is 22 degrees. What are the measure of angle B and angle C? Okay, as you can see, class, in this figure, there are tick marks. So this means that these sides are congruent. Side AB is congruent to side AC. Since they are congruent, the angle opposite to these sides are also congruent based on that theorem. So it means that angle B is congruent to angle C. They are the same. So let's use a variable. It means that if this measures x degrees, angle C also measures x degrees. Okay? So now, remember, class, that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is equal to, okay, very good, 180 degrees. So if we're going to add angle A plus angle B plus angle C, it should be equal to 180 degrees. Now let's substitute the values. Angle A is 22 degrees, so we put 22, plus angle B, we can write x, plus angle C, we can also write x, since they are congruent, is equal to 180 degrees. So what is x plus x? That is 2x, very good, is equal to 180 degrees. Next, combine like terms. We want to eliminate 22 on the left side, so I'm going to subtract 22 to the left and right side of the equation. So 22 minus 22 is 0. Bring down 2x. And then 180 minus 22 is 158. Okay, so last step, divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. So 2 divided by 2 is simply 1, or simply 1x, or x is equal to 158 divided by 2 is 79. So the value of angle x is 79 degrees. So class, if measure of, it means class that if the measure of angle B is 79 degrees, the measure of angle C is also 79 degrees. And that is our final answer. Okay, let's move to number 2. So for number 2, the question is, what are the lengths of all the 3 sides of the triangle? So right now, we don't know the length yet because we have x. So the first step that we have to do is to solve for x. So what equation can we make based on the figure? As you can see here, class, applying the theorem of isosceles triangle, we have arc marks here. It means that this angle, angle P, and angle Q are congruent. If angle P and angle Q are congruent, it means the side opposite of those angles are also congruent. And what are those sides? We have x plus 20 and 8x plus 3. Again, I'm going to repeat. So, based on the figure, angle P and angle Q are congruent, which means the side opposite of that angle are also congruent, which are x plus 20 and 8x over 3. Since they are congruent, we can say that x plus 20 is equal to 8x over 3. Okay, so now we're going to solve for x. Using cross multiplication, we can cross multiply this one. So multiply them, class. We have 3 times x plus 20 is equal to 8x. Using distributive property, we're going to multiply 3 times x and then 3 times 20. So 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times 20 is 60 is equal to 8x. Now, combine like terms. I need to eliminate 3x here. So, to eliminate 3x, I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides of the equation. So, 3x minus 3x is 0. Bring down 60. And 8x minus 3x is 5x. Last step is that I have to divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. So the value of x is 12. But that is not the final answer yet, because the question is, what are the lengths of all the three sides of the triangle? So what we're going to do next is we're going to substitute 12 to all the values of x. Okay, let's start with side PR. So side PR is x plus 20. Okay, substitute the value of x, which is 12. It will become 12 plus 20. Therefore, side PR is 32. Next, let's solve for side RQ. Side RQ is 8x over 3. Substituting the value of x, which is 12. So we have 8 times 12 divided by 3. So what is 8 times 12 divided by 3? Okay, very good. That is 32. So we know that side RQ measures 32 units. So as you can see, class, side PR is 32 and side RQ is 32. It's because PR and RQ are congruent. That's why they have the same side length. And lastly, for side PQ, so side PQ is equal to 6x minus 12. So substitute the value of x, which is 12. We have 6 times 12 minus 12. So 6 times 12 minus 12 is equal to 60. So these are the measures of the sides. So side PR is 32, side RQ is 32 units, and lastly, side PQ measures 60 units. Those are the lengths of all the three sides of the triangle. So again, side PR is 32, side RQ is 32, and side PQ is 60. Again, class, just a quick review. Since angle P and angle Q are congruent, the sides opposite of them are also congruent. So that's why if this is 32 units, this is also 32 units. Okay, try to answer this question. So it's like the previous example wherein we have this figure, we have congruent angles. What is the value of x? So you have to determine which sides are congruent. And after you determine the value of x, substitute it to each side of the triangle. Okay, so you can pause this video while you're answering it and resume when you're done. Okay, let's move on to the guided practice. Okay, so for this guided practice, I'm just gonna guide you on how to solve this. But the question is, find the perimeter of triangle ABC, show your complete work. When we say perimeter, class, it means we have to add all the measure of all the sides of a triangle in order to determine the perimeter. So just a quick review. In a triangle, so if this measures 5 units and then 5 units, and this is, let's say, 6. So in order to get the perimeter, we have to add all the sides. We have 5 plus 5 plus 6 is equal to 16. So the perimeter is 16 units. So that's how you get the perimeter. So here, we need to determine the measure of each sides, and then I'll add all of those, and then that's the perimeter. So first class, we have step 1, we have to determine which sides are congruent so that we can create an equation. So here in step 1, we have to find the measure of angle A because we need to know this first. Okay? So here you can find the measure of angle A by what class? Okay, remember that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180, and we have 132 and 24. How are we going to get the missing angle? Okay, very good. So here you can subtract 180 minus 132 minus 24. Then that is the measure of angle A. Okay, so once you find the measure of angle A, now you know what are the sides that are congruent, or once you find the measure of angle A, you will know what are the angles that are congruent. If the angles are congruent, therefore, you know what are the sides that are congruent. If you know what sides are congruent, then you can create an equation. So this is the time that you can create an equation. So you have to write here the congruent sides. And then you will get and solve for x. Okay, class, remember that you have to show your complete solution, but if your answer is x is equal to 10, that is correct. Okay, next, step 3. Use the value of x to determine the measure of side AB, side BC, and side AC. So now that you found the value of x, you have to substitute it here. For example, side AC, you have to substitute it here. It will become 2 times the value of x plus 15. You have to determine the measure of this side, and then substitute it to side BC. Substitute the value of x to 4x minus 5. And lastly, you have to substitute the value of x to 4x plus 12. Okay? After you found the sides of the length of each side, then for step 4, you have to add the measure of all the sides. If the perimeter that you got is 122 units, that is correct. Okay, so for the last part of the activity class, I want you to research and write the definition of the following terms and then provide one example each. First is perpendicular bisector in a triangle. Please define it. Equilateral triangle. And lastly, equiangular triangle.